Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be reacting to
BTS versus Spotify. Let's see.
What?
Who's gonna win?
Every end of the year since 2016, millions of Spotify users share with the world their Spotify Wrapped data, which includes their most streamed songs and artists. But Spotify Wrapped is not only for users, it's also for artists. So along with your own
That is
personalized
so cool.
Spotify data,
For like as an artist to see everyone listening like, oh my god, that's pretty cool.
Spotify releases the platform's data with its most streamed songs and artists. This helps the artists increase their reputations and popularity even more, since they can reassure music critics and the general public that they are successful artists. They can get media coverage even without a new release. They can get the attention of new listeners, and they can even increase their streams, since Spotify creates playlists with the most popular songs of the most popular artists. But what if I told you that this data is not the most accurate data? If you go to the hashtag Spotify Corrupt, you will see different users jumping on the trend. But it was all started by BTS's fandom, ARMY. This because Spotify has had a weird relationship with BTS since the group entered the global music market in 2017, and 2022 was not the exception. In Spotify's year-end charts, BTS was the 5th most streamed artist, but they were completely left out of Spotify's Artist of the Year playlist, giving their number 5 position to Ed Sheeran. 2022 was also the year when the Artist of the Year playlist, giving their number 5 position to Ed Sheeran.
Bad Bunny. What is the top artist of 2022 global artist? Bad Bunny, Taylor Swift, The Weeknd, Drake, and then Ed Sheeran, right?
Oh,
Bad Bunny,
so
Taylor Swift, Drake,
so
The Weeknd.
So where did BTS place on that?
That's
I would need to know
interesting.
wherever they place on this then.
Yeah, that's interesting because I do see that, in the purple thing, Drake is number 3, The Weeknd is 4, and on this list, The Weeknd is 3, Drake is 4. So if BTS is like 6, then whatever. And they probably Ed Sheeran was 6. They're just kind of adjusting. Not a big deal. But if it was BTS was completely left off of the top 50, then we have a problem.
Yeah.
So I don't exactly. It depends if they were 6th or not.
2022 was
I guess
also
we
the
can
year
look
when
at the. I can look it up. No.
Top artist of 2022. You think
On
you'll be able
Spotify?
to spot that?
Why not? Is
Okay, let's see.
the BTS members started releasing official solo projects. Spotify announced that Jungkook, who had a collaboration with Charlie Puth and who sang the World Cup official song, became the most streamed K-pop soloist. Spotify, without any explanation, apparently changed their minds last minute and named the 2nd position as the most streamed K-pop soloist. This is when
The second, I don't understand.
World Cup official song became the most streamed
They
K-pop
switched it.
soloist.
What? No, not in this, on the actual playlist. Because this, yes, I see this.
Oh.
But on the playlist, you need to find
Go to the
Spotify,
playlist?
yeah,
Okay, here.
top artists of 2022.
Spotify, without any explanation, apparently changed their minds last minute and named the 2nd position as the most streamed K-pop soloist.
Lisa Black was the most streamed K-pop soloist on Spotify globally. Jungkook was the most.
So top 20.
That's interesting.
This is when armies started the hashtag Spotify Corrupt, because although Spotify promises that this was just a mistake, years of evidence indicate that Spotify's executives favor certain artists, especially the ones signed to Interscope Records.
Would be this one?
Your songs.
That would be my
No,
songs.
top and top artists of 2024. Of 2024.
2022.
Sorry, yeah, I'm tripping. Top.
This one? Top hits?
No. They only have for this year, I guess. Yeah, because to me that's what matters. If they were completely out of the whole 50 songs, they were not on there, then that's problematic. But if they were on the list, just not that number 5, I don't think they're guaranteed to order it in the same order, so I don't really find that problematic.
Are Good For You sitting at the top of Spotify's most streamed songs of the summer list, along with 7 of her other songs.
The American music label Interscope Records is a division of Universal Music Group, or UMG, the biggest music company
I think that's the same label that Drake is accusing.
in the world. Interscope's last CFO and EVP was Jeremy Ehrlich, who served these positions from April 2016 to March 2019. Billie Eilish signed to Interscope just months after he became CFO in 2016, and in 2019, just a couple of months after Billie Eilish Eilish released her debut album, Jeremy left Interscope and became Spotify's head of music strategy. That year, Billie Eilish became one of the most streamed artists on Spotify. The same thing happened in 2021. Olivia Rodrigo signed to Interscope Records before releasing her debut album in 2021, and Spotify promoted that album like crazy. Spotify sent emails to its users offering limited edition cassettes for the ones who streamed her album the most. Spotify organized and promoted a free car wash with the
I wonder
album's
how they
theme.
decide to do that. It seems like UMG has great connections and they're not afraid
Well,
to use it.
How how Drake accused it. I can't find the damn playlist, man. I was curious if they were on the
Me
playlist
too.
at all, because that matters a lot.
Yes, it does.
That matters a lot.
Because then it would be this video not hiding information.
Yeah, because she can be pushing her narrative too. She's an army, so it's I can't find it, unfortunately.
So we gotta take your word for it.
Yeah, whatever. But yeah, so what Drake basically said is that Interscope, was it Interscope or UMG? UMG maybe overall gives certain discounts for Spotify to, Spotify can make more money, so they invest more. Is that problematic? I don't know. Is it?
Could everyone do it?
I think everyone could do it if you give them a discount. So I don't know if that exactly is problematic. If contracts allow for that, if they're not.
Because a lot of people would have to okay on that.
Yeah, if the contracts allow for that, I mean, at the end of the day, they are a business to make money. They're not here to help artists. They're here to make money. So if somebody gives them a discount, they're more incentivized to push it. Well, I don't exactly.
But
have a
to me,
problem with that.
I'm shocked that not everyone does it to make this not even beneficial to do it anymore.
Well, you already make peanuts, pennies on the dollar for streams. So if you give even more discount, you don't exactly make much. So it's kind of like a trade-off. You don't make much money, but you get more popularity, which probably is worth it. So.
Even Jeremy himself was telling the New York Times how he didn't expect for Olivia's album to have so many streams on Spotify. That year, Olivia Rodrigo's debut album became Spotify's most streamed album of the year. Now back to BTS. A year after BTS's popularity exploded in America, Jeremy Ehrlich signed his K-pop girl group to Interscope when he was still the CFO at the label. He promised the group's Korean company executives to make these girls the biggest
Blackpink in your area.
band in the world. But that title is held by BTS. And after them is Imagine Dragons. And after them is Coldplay. And after them is Maroon 5. And then is Arctic Monkeys. And then is Queen. And then is One Direction. And then is The Neighborhood. And then is the Beatles. And then, finally, is Jeremy Ehrlich's favorite group. But BTS are not only the biggest group of 2022, they are also the 5th biggest artist of 2022. And this is something that historically has been very hard to achieve, because soloists have always been more popular than groups. This is why BTS being number 5 is even a bigger achievement than you can think, because the second biggest group, Imagine Dragons, is estimated to be around the 40th position in the overall artist charts. And I don't even know if we can trust Spotify saying that Imagine Dragons surpasses Coldplay as the second biggest group, because Imagine Dragons are also signed to Interscope. And if you're from Interscope, Spotify loves you.
They're making a good case.
Like I said,
well,
It's a good case.
watching this video when it dropped, 2022, I'm assuming,
No one would have believed it though.
it was different. But now knowing what Drake has,
Yeah, I think
knowing
so, yeah.
how it works, it's a little different for me, because I understand how it works, so I don't exactly find it problematic. Watching back then, I could see like, it's I can see, but now
So what would you do as a competing company?
pay them, lower the rate. That's what you got to do.
I don't think that's enough, because it seems like we have a team member that was part of this company switch over to Spotify. There's not possible that he will consider another company. He will always have a bias towards the previous company.
Okay, then that is problematic.
That's where it's
That-
unethical.
That
business
is
practices.
problematic. However, I don't think it's that. I think it's just the fact that Interscope gives them lower rate, as Drake accused, and because they make more money, they stream them. If it's about the money, straight up, because of the lower rate, then I don't have a problem with that, and because anybody can lower their rate. If you lower your rate to match Interscope's rates and you still don't get pushed, then I have a problem with it.
But then should it be kind of pushed? Like a fine print. This list is it can be the amounts adjusted based on who gets promoted more.
What list?
Like whoever's on the list, like a little fine print that says, oh, the numbers here reflect does not showcase that one group may be promoted more than the others.
I'm sure that's somewhere in Spotify's fine print.
Spotify releases a chart every year with the most streamed songs and artists, and along with them, they also release playlists that reflect these charts, so you can easily listen to the most popular artists of the year. However,
Because
this year,
do they
Spotify
hide? That means do they hide the others to push the other ones?
Well, so
How does that work? Because to me, it's not pure. Because something is being altered. Something is being done to pull back one, if you're escalating the other.
but why is that one entitled for the same equal treatment? It's a private company. It's not public company. It's about the money. So, like for example, on Google Ads, Google choose which ads to put there, to put where. If they might favor one company or the other for whatever reason, maybe because they bid more on the ad placement. It's the same thing. That's how advertisements work. Because essentially, getting your place on a Spotify playlist is an advertisement. It's never
Then
free.
can you give awards to like artists then based on what
Spotify
they do
streams?
for Spotify? Yeah.
Is there an award solely based on Spotify streams? Not really. But even if you look at the Billboard would be the only one, I guess, that really straight up based on streams and radio play, whatever, sales, radio play and streams, straight up. No like interpretation, no nothing. But you can manipulate all of them. You can manipulate Spotify streams. You can manipulate radio. You can manipulate sales. So, I mean, it's all manipulatable if you want to. It's just how deep are your pockets, essentially. The uphill battle that BTS is fighting is their pockets are not as deep as the Interscope record. So now, do you want to take on this fight or not?
didn't include BTS
So
on
they're
the top
asking
artists of
pretty much for a fair fight.
Who asking? Nobody's asking.
Like for
She is asking, but BTS is not there asking.
22
But she
plays,
said
and the
BTS
fifth
versus-
position was given to Ed Sheeran. Of course, armies were going to notice this, so Spotify created another playlist only for groups. This doesn't affect the other groups because, like I said, it's very hard for groups to compete against soloists, and they barely are on the top artist charts. But this affects BTS because they are on the top 5.
Yeah, but
And they barely are on the top artist charts. But this affects
to me, this example is not a strong case because clearly The Weeknd and Drake are flipped too. So it's like it doesn't have to be 1-to-1. Once again, if BTS is at 6, I mean,
But I think that what's the big difference is as a group to make it top artists is a big deal, and they want the recognition for that, and they're not.
They are though. They're on the Spotify Rap. They're just on the playlist.
No, but they're not on the top artists.
I think they're at number 6. I don't believe they're not at all on the list.
I don't know.
That would be real fucked up if you don't put like number 5 artists at all on the list. That
I don't know. That's what I don't know.
Yeah, we need this fucking playlist. Without the playlist, it's really hard to say anything.
To me, what
because
logical
they are
sense,
on
they
the
would be on the top 5. That's what makes sense to me. They hear the
Yeah.
most streamed artists globally
But this list
is not
this
on top
playlist
artists.
contains 50 tracks.
And
So why can't they be 6th?
And BTS, so I don't know. BTS is 6.
I don't know either. But I'm
Could
saying
they
why
be
can't
7th?
they be? They
Could
could.
they be 8?
They could have 2 entries in there, 3 entries in there. I don't know. How many entries they could have in there. I'm saying.
Oh, so each artist doesn't just get one song; they could get multiple entries.
I don't know. I don't know how the play. We need to see the playlist. I don't know the playlist because she's pushing her narrative right now. But right here, it's obvious that the order, this playlist is not the same order as that. So that narrative is not exactly strong for me.
top 5. This is the first year Spotify has ever separated the artist playlist into a soloist playlist and a group playlist. So Spotify doesn't want BTS to be recognized as one of the platform's most popular artists because it doesn't benefit them, allegedly. This is even more obvious by the fact that if Spotify wanted to divide their playlist into soloists and groups, these playlists should be called Top Soloist of 2022,
That's true.
not
That's
Top
fair.
Artist. This is not only a misleading title, but it also seems like a very funny change to make in 2022. Right, Jeremy? Because Spotify has always included groups in their top artist playlist. With this, Spotify is just hiding. Right, Jeremy? Because Spotify
BTS is on the list here in 2020. So why would that 2022 they all of a sudden not include BTS? Yeah, I don't buy it.
has always included groups in their top artist playlist. With this, Spotify is just hiding BTS in strategic ways, but they are not necessarily lying. They are not denying the fact that BTS is number 5. They just don't want people to know about it. They are not lying, they are just misleading listeners. This was until Spotify took the title of the most streamed K-pop soloist away from Jungkook to give it to one of Jeremy's K-pop girls. Despite not releasing a debut album, Jungkook of BTS is the most streamed K-pop soloist of 2022, achieving this with only 3 songs. However, 24 hours after this announcement, Spotify named one of Jeremy's K-pop girls as the most streamed K-pop soloist of 2022, making media outlets delete the reports on the list and change them to this instead. But there was no explanation as to why this happened. Fans of this K-pop...
It's awkward, but I'd like to see the numbers, to see which one actually is. Because they're claiming it's an error. Okay. Is it an error?
How is it an error?
No, I don't know. I want to see the numbers. Because when we see the numbers, we can clearly see right now.
So they're saying that Lisa got more streams than Jungkook.
That's what they're saying, yeah.
Girls try to give the excuse that Spotify
How many
decided
songs
to move
Lisa
from
got?
collaborations as the artist.
I think that year would probably what Lalisa and Money.
And then Jungkook dropped a whole album.
No, Jungkook has 3 songs.
Only 3 songs?
Yes,
I thought
Stay
the
Alive,
album...
Left and Right, and Dreamers.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
However, the Left and Right, it's Charlie Puth's song. Technically, would it count towards Jungkook? I don't know.
Oh, then I think Lalisa has it. If Money and Lalisa...
That's why I would like to see the numbers.
The streams for Left and Right, Charlie Puth's collaboration with Jungkook, were not supposed to be counted, and that's why...
Okay.
Yeah, then it makes sense.
That makes sense.
I literally
Lisa
just
has
said it's
numbers.
a feature. It shouldn't be... Yeah, I get why features shouldn't be counted.
That song, Money.
Yeah.
And they changed the results. However, if collaborations were not counted, then the most streamed K-pop soloist of 2022 should be J-Hope of BTS, who released Jack in the Box, an album with no features. In any case, collaborations or not...
Okay, there you go. We have numbers. Streams
Let's
without
see the
features.
numbers. You can't be Pablo if your work ain't selling.
Most streamed K-pop soloist with or without features. Streams
So
without
where's Lisa's
features.
numbers? Go to La Lisa. Where's La Lisa?
Lisa streams with features.
Oh, that's Lisa? I thought it said USA from here. Whoosh, mama.
Interesting. Then yeah,
Okay.
J-Hope should have won.
So, streams without features. Streams with features.
Yeah, this is... Yeah.
So why didn't they giving it to J
What
Hope?
features Lisa had though in 2022? What do you see?
That don't make no sense.
Not, a BTS member should have the title of the most streamed K-pop soloist, not this girl. So after Spotify
Not
put
this
up
girl.
hours on Twitter, Spotify changed the list once again, giving Jungkook the title of the most streamed K-pop soloist. Spotify then tweeted from their K-pop account. Every year, we endeavor to accurately reflect consumption around the
army
world.
went
In
after
reference
them.
to our top K-pop artists of 2022 playlist, multiple genre tags led to slightly different top 10 lists, and they were not properly merged. This mistake has been corrected. We join the fans in celebrating the many achievements of BTS and regret this error.
I
But
know
this
y'all
tweet
do.
doesn't really answer anything.
Maybe she had a song with, remember, where she was featured with Meg Thee Stallion and whatnot?
I don't remember that one.
The one in Miami. With DJ Snake.
Oh, that one.
Maybe that was counted?
Oh, okay.
So then, I mean, if these numbers are correct, J-Hope should have won. J-Hope should have won it.
If this was a true honest error, if this was truly a mistake while merging genres, why were BTS the only ones affected? Why did the rest of the K-pop list remain the same? Why did you decide this year, for the first time ever?
Well, probably because the rest of K-pop is kind of irrelevant when you're talking to
Oh
the
yeah,
West.
it's a big difference.
Yeah,
it's a big difference. From
BTS is actually
BTS and
relevant
everybody
in the West, whereas others is just irrelevant. So that's why they're not affected, because they're irrelevant.
To exclude groups like BTS from the top artist playlist. Why did you include BTS only on playlists where they can be seen next to Jeremy's favorite group? But this is just one of the many times in which Spotify has been acting weird with BTS on the platform. From ridiculous filtering of streams, cutting BTS's numbers almost in half, to leaking BTS songs on their own platform. Spotify is known for sabotaging artists who refuse to play their game.
Ooh, I like this. Why should
If
we
you fail to
fail?
drive
Let me
yourself,
know.
I failed in 5 minutes. Don't worry, because Uber Teen Accounts is giving you 1 month.
If you're not a BTS fan, you may be thinking, why should I care about any of this? Why should I care about some dumb K-pop fan war? Why should I care that some big corrupt label is stealing the #1 position from another big corrupt label? If you're not familiar with BTS and their story, it may be hard to believe, but BTS are not from one of these big music corporations. They are actually independent artists, and this is why they've been recognized as some of the biggest independent artists in the music industry. But like any other independent artist, when they become too big for their small management to handle, they ask for help from a big American label to distribute their albums. This is why BTS has a distribution deal with the American label Geffen Records, but they are only signed to HYBE, a Korean music label which BTS basically helped build from scratch. This is also Bad Bunny's story. He is signed to his own Puerto Rican label, but has a distribution deal with one of Sony's music companies. All these American companies do is distribute their albums in America, but since the artists are not signed to the label, the executives only give this type of heavy promotion to their signed artists. So when it comes to artistic liberties and promotions, BTS and Bad Bunny are basically on their own. This is why it feels even...
But Bad Bunny still was #1 in 2022, so that doesn't... And he's not with Interscope Records either, so I don't exactly know what that proves.
More wrong that these big executives are taking BTS's achievements. If BTS were signed to Sony, for example, this would just be another nasty fight by UMG and Sony, but this is actually this K-pop group's American management, Interscope, along with Spotify's executives constantly trying to make this girl group look bigger than they are by associating them with BTS at all costs. Allegedly. And this is not new. BTS has been harmed by Interscope and therefore Spotify for years. One of Interscope's signed artists, Olivia Rodrigo, was promoted in South Korea as the solo singer who's currently in a battle with BTS. And this K-pop girl group has always used BTS's name to create their own media play. But this year, they've been more shameless than ever. This K-pop group's management, label, Jeremy, or whoever that creates their media play, has been buying awards that were supposed to go to BTS in some American award shows. They have been pretending that they're not really sold-out arena concerts, were part of a bigger tour than BTS's sold-out stadium tours. They managed to get Times Magazine to name them Entertainer of the Year, when they are not the biggest group, the biggest K-pop group, and much less America's Entertainer of the Year. And most recently, of course, this whole Spotify fiasco happened. You've probably heard about Spotify's corruption, or maybe even assumed it, because that's just how the music industry is. It destroys independent artists and it saturates the general public with artists
I
with
understand the frustration. I get it.
I get the frustration, but that's just how it works, so that's what it is. Get with the program or get left behind.
But then, do you really look at the artists as musicians? Like, they're talented musicians? Like,
Who's talented? Half of the artists in the top uses autotune. They're not really that talented. They just get good promos and whatnot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's why it's not given the same respect. Like, the talented people should be the ones that people actually listen to the music to. It should be the ones to prevail.
But people do listen to these untalented individuals, though.
Yeah, I know.
This is why when a song by the YouTuber Corpse became a mainstream song, everyone in the internet celebrated. It was a big win for independent artists because it proved that a technically small artist with no big label behind him defeated the big corrupt corporation that is Spotify.
It appears that even without a swell of mainstream
adoption... watching this, I kind of get why, the army does, those streaming things that we did, these streaming parties, whatever they called. I get it, because, they're kind of fighting the uphill battle.
Yeah.
But at the same time, then don't be mad at Spotify for deleting streams either, because if Spotify counts those streams as illegal, then you can't get mad at them.
So interesting.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't be having to do those things in the first place. That's why it's like...
What do you mean you shouldn't? Life is not fair. Why do you expect fair treatment? That's not how life is. When has life ever been fair?
Because it does seem like Spotify does kind of curate what you should be listening to.
Yeah, but Spotify is a private company. It's not a public company. If you
understand.
have a problem with that, go to Apple Music, go to Amazon. They're not a monopoly. There's other alternatives.
No, I understand. I understand this. It's just that the information that comes from them, I shouldn't take it as with any kind of weight or anything like that, because there's a lot of manipulation.
So what weight do you take it with? What Spotify makes your life decisions?
Well, kind of. If I see this song has a lot of streams, it must be good. I'll click it more than...
Yeah, you click and it's trash and goes into it again.
No, then I question myself, say, why everyone listening to this? And then you start looking into it.
Really? You spend that much time questioning yourself about the song?
I question because I say, okay, because sometimes when I want to give an artist a chance, I look at their numbers to see, okay, how many streams
If you
they
don't
have.
like it, you don't
Let me
like
listen
it.
to their popular songs.
If you don't like it, you don't like. I mean, there's been plenty of times when we do a reaction and like it's a song that's blowing up, and we hear it's like, I don't know what the fuck. Why is the song blowing up?
But you know,
Next.
sometimes I see the ones with really low numbers, and I click. I say, why is no one listening to this? They're really good. Like for example, Ensign. I really like their music, and they do very good quality work. But if they don't have the you know the people in the backhand pulling the strings, they're not gonna be.
Yes, but that's how it is.
And
It's
then
not
the
just.
art. Then the art dies. What about the art? The art dies.
I understand your point of view, you know, from like the utopia and whatnot, but that's not how life works. I get it, but it's never been fair. Like life is not fair. We're dealing with corporations that only care about money, and they're only gonna do whatever deepens their pockets. So it's either get with the program or get behind that. As I said, you don't like how Spotify treats you, don't put your music on Spotify.
I agree.
That's what kind of Beyonce did. They started the whole Tidal thing. Guess what? They still went back to Spotify. So you know that you have. It's not. I would have a big problem, if there was no other options. Then if it's a monopoly and you have to go and they treat you okay, we can talk about it. But there's
So now
options.
it makes me wonder who else has this little deal going on. That
What deal?
Like
the percentage cutback? Seems like all UMG artists, according to Drake, allegedly. Because I heard rumblings that they're doing the same thing with Rose too. They're pushing Roses, putting Roses in suggestions and everything. And I believe Rose is signed to Interscope in America. So no, Republic Records. I think she's third. Let me see.
Because you know, I don't know. This may not be. I want to know how this affect like the average person, because it seems like it affects the artist.
Atlantic Records she signed with.
This mostly, I would say, affects the artist because of, you know, their career and, you know, what they can negotiate down in the future. But me as a listener, how I feel how this affects us is like witnessing, distinguishing who we are acknowledging in the space of music, who's a talented artist that is proving by putting out good work versus who is not, and we don't get to distinguish that. And ultimately, this is gonna make the art disintegrate pretty much. So that's the only way I see it. It's not about the music, it's about the money, and the music's gonna die. Good music will die.
Were you born yesterday?
No, but then
I feel like you're talking like you were born yesterday.
You see why you see the buildings like that. You see the buildings, they don't last like they used to.
Because it's about the money. The whole
because
society is
the
about
ones
the
who
money.
are
This is what
willing
it
to,
is.
the ones who are willing to cut the corners are the ones who are making the money to build more bigger buildings that will collapse. The good buildings won't. There's no more good buildings being built.
Yes, it applies to everything in life. Honestly, it's not really about BTS versus Spotify. It's about big corporations versus regular folks. It's always been like that. What do you think the Occupy Wall Street was about? The same fucking thing.
I've seen a big corporation go big and then go small.
Which one?
BP.
British Petroleum.
Yeah, it was big.
It's still big.
No, not what it used to be. ExxonMobil. It was big. It's not big anymore. Michael Kors. It was big. It's not big no more. Now it's Hermes.
British Petroleum had total assets of $280 billion. That's not big? Of
And
2023.
And before that, well, because of, you know what? Because of the everything after 2020, people start jumping the numbers. They had us inside the house. They fixed the numbers, and we outside the house. Now we see the numbers change.
Anyway, back to this topic. So Rose is actually of Warner Music, not UMG. So the fact that Rose also is getting pushed doesn't really support this case. But
why not? She's a part of Blackpink.
She's not.
Blackpink affiliate.
She's not part of UMG. She's part of Warner.
I know, but still, she's connected to Blackpink.
Okay, but they're not getting paid. They're not gonna push nobody if they're not getting a check.
Listen. If Rose drops music, everyone, oh my god, I love her, and also I love. What else has she done? Oh, she did music with Blackpink. Well, let me go see Blackpink.
Okay.
His single will be passing 100 million streams soon. I think it really highlights the power dynamics have shifted so greatly.
I need to
But when
see
artists
that
like
power
BTS
dynamics
do this
change.
time and
That's
time
what I
again, nobody
like.
talks about it because these corporations.
I think the only way to change it, to truly change it, if you want,
It's to not
change
be
it-
okay and sit.
No.
Oh, what I'm gonna do?
to start your own streaming service.
Yeah.
That's the only way to change it. If you want to do something about it, start your own.
But you
streaming
know, with
service.
social
that's the
media-
only thing you can do.
With social media, you see, that's why those companies got upset with TikTok, because when TikTok was playing those sounds with the music and they were not getting the money for it, they said, "Hey, give me back my music."
Exactly.
But now that right now they're able to, because they have some sort of deal. I think now with social media and now the power is in the hands of the people, so that's why it's something to be talked about, because it's no longer just the corporations have the power. Now it's the people, the consumers.
These artists' names as much as they can. This is why Corp's other songs didn't come mainstream again. And this allegedly hurts corporations like Spotify even more, because BTS is a big name and they refuse to play the American industry's game. And this has cost them a lot. BTS has talked about this. They've confessed that they received offers to frankly become bigger than what they are, but they keep refusing.
더 데도 갈 수 있었고 기회도 얻었고.
긍정적인 방법도 좋지만 조금 더 정직한 방법으로 좋은 음악을 만드는 게 어떨까요? 모두 다 좋은
How much
음악을
bigger
하고
you guys can
좋은
be?
음악을 듣는 그런 시대가 왔으면
Well, they were number 5. They're aiming for that number 1.
좋겠습니다.
And I've talked about these triangulation tactics before. BTS are known in the industry for refusing to play for radio play and for American awards. My conclusion to all of this may not feel gratifying. I see
I mean,
They can move.
it's fair that they're refusing to pay. That's okay, but if you refuse to pay, then don't be upset that you don't get any.
They're not upset.
No, I mean then ARMY don't be upset that they don't get any. They don't pay. I mean the awards if you gotta pay for them and
But
they don't pay, they're not gonna get it.
But
It is what it
honestly,
is. That's
imagine
what it
low
is.
key. If you the top number 1, everything associated with this group, like the merch, everything, tickets, the memorabilia, those values, they go up. The bigger the artist. So if I'm a fan and I'm consuming a lot into this group, and I want to return in that investment to know, like, if I support your stuff, I have stuff like in 20 years from now is gonna be worth a lot.
I don't think the fans think like
Think
that.
that far
I
ahead.
don't think they intend on selling it.
The armies and music
No,
fans
but it's a
saying,
flex.
"Let's
You
just
put
sabotage
it,
the
you know,
spot."
instead of in
You're
your
not
China,
wrong. I'm not
instead
arguing
of
with you.
putting
I'm not
China
arguing with you.
in
I
the
agree with you.
cabinets, you're gonna flex your BTS and tell your kids. And say, look, you see that? BTS
I agree
in the beginning.
with you. I'm just saying, I don't think the fans are thinking like that.
Let's not listen to any artist there, but that may do more harm than good, because Spotify is the music industry, and not supporting independent artists will only empower these corporations even more. The truth is that the present and future of music is streaming, and sabotaging Spotify will only hide BTS even more. Spotify has so many corruption problems, but so does YouTube, the Grammys, and most music institutes.
Exactly.
Oh.
Everyone is the same. That's
But
the point I've been
honestly-
making throughout this video.
But let me tell
That's
you,
just
but let me tell you
everybody's
what's the
like that.
best feeling. The best feeling is not being bought,
Okay,
because you're free.
that is true.
So I think the best way in which fandoms can protest such corporations is to shame them on social media, while also supporting independent artists. In the case of BTS, ARMY's strategy
No, as I said, I think the best way if you truly want to do this is create your create your own streaming service and listen there. But I don't think people would do that then, because then it would take from the name, because now you no longer be on charts, because nobody would take the little streaming service into account. So it's kind of
has been the same for years, making BTS so big that it's impossible to deny them a spot on this list.
That's
At the end of the
true.
day, these K-pop groups'
That
image
happens
as
to
these big
Beyonce.
worldwide artists are simply that, an image. Extreme media play and promotion can only get you so far. Only
Like, for example, Beyonce, like the base, they look at the numbers, they say that something is going on. So every time that there's a list come out, like for who's the top 5 artists of da 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 da, they make sure to be in the comments to say, no, this is wrong, this is manipulated, Beyonce should be at number one.
Okay,
I
but
feel like it's gonna be like that for BTS too as well.
But if everybody is manipulated, then come on. Honestly,
that's why I don't see the point of these articles being published. Who's number one? I don't know, because you could pay for that spot, but to see Bad Bunny as number one, that's pretty impressive. Especially if he can't pay for his spot to be there. But I don't know how else he can be there, because nowadays apparently people doing stuff behind the scenes to make it to the top. I don't know. I'm just outside minding my business.
Olivia Rodrigo also had connections with Spotify, and that helped her music career to skyrocket, allegedly. But this effect is not happening with this girl group. The media play is not working, and this is mainly because BTS's fandom won't let it happen. So speak up, it works. And don't forget to stream your favorite artists.
That,
yeah, you have the power to speak up, so use your platforms.
That's why you can't be pessimistic, like you.
Yeah, sure.
Wow, that was interesting. Guys, of course, let us know your thoughts. So please like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord. And as always, share as much kindness as possible.